go.
I'll show you these says, and he makes the red sit down on a dusty couch, which is kind of leans over and lays down in the afternoon. Bring me in, Mom, with some food. My father says you've been out in the cold for 8 long years, and we're hungry, not my son. Yes, sir, I say.
Okay, Zaylin.
Iggy goes out into the kitchen to fry up something, which they sit there and dark and getting in the middle. It's still on
Okay.
Even though the party's there, and Iggy's first get around, like it's such an important kid for the house. And it's hard to leave peace to see Iggy when his boss over to Iggy. This man should be extra to get it to
Who's after Zaylin? Oh, Braylon?
Damn, for little ways of stress and business coming from knowledge so you can practically see right down the road. And she says, I guess I need that. Then she gives. I don't know. I guess I need a lot of things. My father wipes his mouth with this folded up paper napkin and he ignores her and looks at you and says, you every time Iggy gives this get delivered, like wouldn't that be fun?
Like me to read?
No. Like, wouldn't that be fun being a cook in prison? He says, anytime you want, I'll show you that place I told you about. My father stands up. Now is good, he says. He looks right at me. Come on, boy. Okay. Chapter 17. It's not very long. It's page 108 to 114. Whose turn is it? Who's after Braylon? Madeline.
There's a back alley between the
Tenement?
buildings. You can't see it from the road, and Iggy takes us along the aisle to this other place. You can tell how the door has been busted in and the lock broke. And we go into the dark hallway. The lights.
Oh, freeze. Ethan, is it your turn? We're at the lights. Come on.
Is he number 5?
Yes.
Oh, and the first thing I noticed is the perfume an old lady wears and the smell of cats. It ain't much, but the old dad who lives here took the Greyhound to visit her sister for the holiday week, he says. Kind of style. The little room is warm and close feeling, and the furniture is real old and sad. There's a big old TV with a doily on the top, and an empty goldfish bowl, and piles of newspapers tied up neat with string, and a Bible on this little table by the TV. Also, there's this picture of Jesus on the wall, where his eyes keep following you, and you goes cross-eyed looking at it.
Freeze. Sarah.
Ain't much worth taking, Iggy says. My father is looking around, making sure the curtains are closed. You think I'd steal from an old woman, he says? Iggy shakes his head. I sure don't.
Jessica.
Never mind, my father says. This will do in a pinch until we get started. I better get back to Loretta. You do that. My father watches the door shut behind Iggy and he doesn't say anything. I'm just standing there in the middle of the room because I don't know what he wants me to do.
Make yourself comfortable, he finally says. I'm going to check. We have a back way out. I'm looking at the door we come by, just looking, when all of a sudden, he's there behind me, and I feel the cool air of him on the back of my neck. You wouldn't light out there. You wouldn't light out on me now, would you? No, sir, I wouldn't. We sit down, he says. We need to talk to man to man.
Jillian.
I sit down in this old lady chair that's so soft I almost sink through to the floor, and I'm wondering what happened to the cats. Maybe she took them with her to visit her sister. Or maybe Iggy let them out and they can't get back in. He leans over me and puts his big hands on the arms of the chair and he says, "Now your grandparents say you're nothing but a dysfunctional retard, but no kid of mine is a retard, and that's a fact. So first thing, you've got to start acting smart. Use your head. You've got a situation going here, boy. So the way to handle it, you just do exactly what I say no matter what. Understood?" Yes, sir.
His hand shoves through my hair, and I feel how strong he is, even though he doesn't hurt me. "That's good," he says. "That's real good."
He goes into another room and I can feel a romaine and stuff being moved around. And when he comes back, he's got this rope in his hands. A boy who doesn't know his own father might be dumb enough to run away, he says. We can't have that, can we? No, so what? No, so we can't have that.
What he does is tie up my feet and hands, and then he loops the end of the rope around his waist. I'm taking sack time while I can, he says. You're as smart as I think you are, you'll get some shuttle too.
He turned the light and knocks down on the floor beside the chair. With just his arm for a pillow, and for a long time he couldn't tell me about sleep like a king. Then I decided to take a night if I moved the motion, surely they can.
It seems like we're closing consecutively, even though the air is warm and stuffy. The sauce drink keeps a hold of me. I'm not strong enough to get up. My feet and hands are getting tingly, here and there, tired. And pretty soon I can't even keep my eyes open.
Miss Ward, can I answer this question?
Go ahead, answer it well, just make sure you're listening while we read, okay? Amen.
After she removed the cat, it is in the other room, and now for milk, and I was thinking about that cat, because he's sitting there, and he says, because I better tell my own son a thing or two, he needs to know about his own cat.
First thing, like I already said, I never killed anybody. I'm big like you're big, so folks assume things they shouldn't. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir, I do. Cross you or you're finishing. I'll keep reading. Good. Now the other thing is the geezers you've been living with all these years. I bet they never gave you the presents I sent you. Did they? No, sir, they didn't. Cross you or start it. He shakes.
He shakes his head real sourful. That's a crime, not getting a boyfriend from his father. I suppose you didn't get the letters I sent. No, if they didn't give over the presents, they likely tore up the letters. Another crime against humanity, that's what that is. They hated me from the first sight, on account of my appearance and because I wasn't good enough for their glorious daughter. Precious daughter. As if a man should be blamed for how fearsome or cold he is, when in fact he's truly a loving person inside. Or child. You wanna keep reading?
You want to finish that paragraph?
Yeah. I can hardly see a sad movie without crying, and I'm not afraid to say so.
Valen? Pick your head up, please.
There's just a little bit of silver to it. That's just an unkind beginning of you know how kids can be in school when there's levels. It was like some of these good kids, they were adults who should know better, except they're so ignorant and get their the worst.
Braylon?
His voice is really raggedy. to the other side. All you can see is just the road here. A great injustice was done to me, Lord. He says, what those people did, they stole my right. They took years away from me. Might as well cut out my own heart. That's how it was to lie awake each night and think about the injustice what was done to me.
They blame me for all the wrongs in the world, those people, by which, I mean, the geezers, her folks, that always hated me, and of course, the police who failed to see the truth of the situation. Who reads after Braylon?
He stopped to rub away another stream of tears. There's no crying in his voice. You can't hear it there, but sure enough, the tears are all over his face. Slick and shiny in the pale light. I woke up just worrying that you might wonder why I never did mention her, your mother. You might still be thinking the wrong way on that and believe what they told you, being such a tiny little thing when it happened. How could you know the truth of it?
Okay. Ethan?
He gets up then and goes over by the TV set. Far enough so the rope is tugging at me. Then he's back and he's got a book in his hands. You know what this is, boy? The Bible, I say. You can tell that in the dark, can you? That's fine. What I'm going to do, I'm putting my right hand down on the Bible, see?
Sarah?
Yes, sir, I see. And I'm putting my other hand over my heart. Can you see that? Yes, sir, I can. That's good, boy. Now listen up. I, Kenneth David Kane, do swear by all that's holy that I did not murder this boy's mother. And if that isn't the truth, may God strike me dead.
Jessica?
I'm waiting to see if something happens and nothing does. The room is the same. It smells of old lady perfume and missing cats, and my hands and feet are still tied up by rope to his waist. Satisfied, he says,
Kaylin?
I want to answer him, but my throat closes up, and my tongue is so dry I can finally open my mouth. I keep thinking about how heavy his hand was on the Bible. I asked you a question, Lord. Yes, sir, I say. I'm satisfied. He lies back down after that, and pretty soon he's breathing heavy again. I can't sleep though. I just sit there like a lump until the sun comes up, trying not to think about things I didn't want to remember.
Are we done for today? Freeze, I'm gonna ask some questions. Who is Max kidnapped by? His dad. What's his dad's name? Kane. This question is from the previous chapter that we read last week. True or false? Max dreamed of a snowman that looks like Freak.
False.
True. He had the dream about the snowman. Remember, it was real cold in the room right before his dad put his hand over his mouth. True or false? Max's father takes him to the apartment of his parole officer.
Actually, no, because they never say his relationship to the people that he took him to.
Yeah, it's false. He didn't take him to the parole officer. They took him to the New Testament. Did anybody have any words they didn't know? Rerun? Okay, if a show reruns on TV, what is it doing? It's replaying, yes. Noah? Tenement? That is like in between the tenant buildings. Like the alleyway that was there. They crossed it. Jessica?
I put manger.
Manger. So you know at Christmas where they have like the manger scene with Jesus and Mary and the three wise men and stuff, that is the manger, like the little building that they're in.
No, the manger is the thing they put in.
It's like a barn.
It's basically a barn.
Okay, what are some key events from our reading today?
He takes them away.
Takes him away. Do you have any questions about today's reading?
No.
What about some predictions? What do we predict is gonna happen in chapter 18?
Granny and Graham get so worried, and then they try to go and find them.
I think Fruit's gonna show up, cause the whole book is about
You
like.
think
getting
Fruit's gonna
free.
show up and say,
So, it probably.
Max?
I think Killer
I don't
Kane's
know.
gonna win.
You think Killer Kane's
I
gonna?
think Killer Kane has the personality of Satan's butt crack.
That wasn't necessary, Julian. Anybody else have any other predictions for next week's reading? We may read on Monday,
Question is,
just to give you guys another break from test prep right before our test, just a little something fun, okay?
Miss Ford,
What proof did they use against him to get him?
I'm not sure, they haven't told us what proof they used. What?
the question is, he said that he didn't kill his mother, so who did it?
That's a good question. Is Killer Kane lying?
No.
Or did somebody else do it and we're gonna prove it?
Someone else did it.
Yeah. So we'll find out, huh?